feel for the table and the arena.
So Jimmy White gets this match underway for us here. Short sprints, these best of sevens, good start essential. Not the best break off from Jimmy, hasn't found the bolt cushion with the cue ball, so I wonder if Ronnie would be tempted by the red to right corner here. He have to power it in though if he's to play it with any element of safety. The black's tied up at the moment. None of us like taking those long reds on early on in a match, do we, Joe, really?
No, you don't want to be faced with that with your first shot. You'd like to have a few easier pots before you take one of them on. Same here for Jimmy. There was a chance at the long red into the yellow pocket, but elected to turn it down. You might regret that now, because that's a loose safety. Shouldn't have been hitting a ball colour there. So long, straightish red for Ronnie. Early test of his cueing. Close, but not quite there. And playing at that pace. Counting himself a little bit fortunate actually. The red's come up the table and not left the opportunity for Jimmy, so good chance for Jimmy to put the white where he wants here, get Ronnie in a spot of trouble. I think Jimmy will still be a little bit nervous out there, Dom, even after all these years and all these matches on the TV table. He'll still undoubtedly have a few butterflies out there until he sort of really settles down.
Yes, absolutely, Joe. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, you still feel the nerves out there. And I don't think if you did feel the nerves, you'd really want to play anymore. It's the buzz of the occasion. And this is really what you practice all the hours for, is for occasions just such as this, when you're playing against great players on your centre stage. The thing we're missing, of course, is a capacity audience here.
Foul and a miss. Jimmy White.
Sometimes when you play these big matches, you're focused on yourself and you forget that your opponent's probably feeling just the same as you are.
Ronnie just missing that thin edge there. Had to catch it ever so thin to avoid the jaws in the corner pocket. But Jimmy, I think rightly, at the moment not electing to have it put back. Definite chance here. In fact, he's turning the red down. It looks like a opportunity to pot that red nearest to the right corner. Quite surprised there, Dom, having not took the red on, that he didn't have the cue ball put back, because it was a tough safety for Ronnie.
It was. Initially I thought the red went, but Ronnie was very keen, as you say, Joe, and I missed it completely, but yeah, I'm surprised that Jimmy didn't take that on, because he could have used the red to the left of it to help deflect the cue ball back up the table towards the blue, but Ronnie will be taking it on here.
One.
Because that red has just finished to the left of the pink there, it may tempt Ronnie now into taking the long straightish blue to the yellow pocket. But a good clean pot from Ronnie, nevertheless. That was very missable.
Well, that was a bit of a collector's
Ronnie
item
O'Sullivan 1.
from Ronnie there. You don't see him miss a ball by that distance very often. So maybe Ronnie's got a few little butterflies going on today. I know they've played each other a lot of times, but it's always a big occasion when you play you know, names like Ronnie O'Sullivan and Jimmy White, so not surprised it's a little bit edgy early doors, but this is a nice opening for Jimmy. A few reds nicely spotted around the black end of the table. Colours in open play. This is exactly what Jimmy needs, just to get a feel for the surroundings. He's coming into that red. He's going to need to play a kind of developing shot here. He's going to just run the cue ball into the pack, not too hard. Just try and get a friendly cannon or two. That's worked out nicely.
Yeah, you see here he potted
6.
the blue as thinly as he possibly could to create a better angle to go into the middle of the pack, and Joe says that's worked out perfectly. I'd like to get the black back onto its spot as soon as possible, and he'll have every chance to do that in a couple of shots. Perhaps would have liked to have been a little straighter here though on the blue.
Not as planned. See, Jimmy just dropped his head there. He won't be happy with that.
12.
He didn't want to be hitting the pink half ball. Was always going to push in the cue ball towards the side cushion. So, still got a pot on, I think, but it's nowhere near as easy as it should have been, and he can't quite get through to the pot and angle with that red, I don't think. So, disappointing for Jimmy there. That was a nice opening. Going to need a good pot now to keep this going.
Jim is trying his best to convince himself that he can just get through to that red, but I'm certain that he can't. But if he can knock this one into the right centre, it will certainly give him a bit of confidence. It's a tough pot, this. Looks a bit of a short jabby cue action to me, Joe.
Jimmy White 12.
Yeah, I always find that sort of shot, it's so much more difficult when you've put yourself there. Had he come to the table after a safety shot from Ronnie and was faced with that pot, he probably would have knocked it in, but the fact that he was on it, he put himself there, and he knows it should have been much easier than that, makes it much harder. So that was a good opportunity for Jimmy there, just to get a few nice simple pots under his belt.
I'm sure there's no doubt about it that Jimmy White would have been, well, one of our boyhood heroes, I suppose, growing up as we did, and certainly would be one of Ronnie's. So there'll be a terrific amount of respect between the two players here, I'm certain. Taking this red on. Would have been better if he'd have missed it on the thin side. Because he caught it thick, the cue ball went straight into the pack of reds, but first sight, I think he's got away with it.
Good shot from Ronnie there. Made sure to cover the right hand side of the table, making this a difficult return back to ball for Jimmy. He's just coming down to have a look if he can leave the cue ball down this end of the table, if he won't leave anything on. Was keen to get the cue ball back to baulk there. It was a risky shot. That red was always going to be somewhere in the natural path coming back down to baulk. So first clear chance for Ronnie then. Hand on the table. This is where he's normally so good. Stick him in the balls with the reds nicely spread. Normally only ever one outcome, and that's frame. A little bit of work to do here though. Black spot's quite congested. Black doesn't go at the moment. So we'll have to work out this little puzzle.
7.
Yeah, this is what great builders do so well. They spot the difficulties that potentially lay ahead and try and develop reds that are causing problems.
8.
He's got a nice little shelf of 4 or 5 reds there just above the black spot. If he can get the black onto its spot, get that cue ball above those reds, he'll be in ideal position. But the red that's just the right of the black he'd like to get out of the way because it's blocking it into that right corner.
13.
When you're sitting in a chair watching Ronnie amongst the balls in a position like this, you feel very lucky. You get back to the table.
14.
Yeah, this is one of them situations, Dom, isn't it, where you're thinking sort of 3-4 shots ahead, and then Harry's going to get that black into play. For the most part, in
19.
break building, you're just 1 or 2 shots ahead at any one time, but sometimes when the balls are a little bit more congested like they are,
20.
blocking each other, you have to plan a bit further ahead. And there's no better one than that from Ronnie O'Sullivan. He'll already have this all mapped out in his brain already.
Sometimes you can think to yourself, well, it's a little bit too awkward to try and develop the black and get it back onto its spot, so you look at the table and think, well, the pink's in open play, the blue's in open play, I'll just concentrate on those. But if the black does pot into this right corner, it must do, he's played for it.
26.
There's a lot of room there, but he's perfectly on this now because he can just stun into the red above the black and hold 1 into the same pocket, and all of a sudden this frame's looking very good now for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
33. 34.
Now the black's back on the spot. You would fully expect Ronnie to go on and convert this into a frame-winning break, but he won't be happy with that one. You don't really, if you can help it, want to be absolutely straight on the black because it limits where you can take the cue ball, but on this occasion it wasn't a problem to get on the red into right
41.
centre. This one to travel, it's just come up a bit short there. Yeah, surprising positional error from Ronnie there. Underhit that by quite some margin.
Yes, an unexpected
Ronnie
reprieve there for Jimmy
42.
White. Ronnie would have played for the black, but the red that's to the right of it was causing a problem. He had to play back across with a little bit of left-hand side to get a position on the pink and just misjudge it, but that's a very good safety. Not quite a snooker, I don't think. You can just about get to the very fine right-hand side of the red. It's a thin one.
I like to see that though, Dom. Sometimes in the past we've seen Ronnie, play a loose shot and straight away just react by going for something that's a little bit reckless, show a little bit of, impatience. But on that occasion, made sure he played a good solid safety shot, showing lots of respect to his opponent and the game. Something I always like to see.
Very well executed safety shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan. I'm sure Jimmy will play the red here to the left of the picture. The cue ball. Oh, he's looking at something else. Bit of a containing safety that. I don't think it's going to put Ronnie O'Sullivan in any difficulty, but nevertheless he hasn't left a pot on.
A little bit too thick that time on Jimmy's safety. He just caught the edge of the knuckle of the corner pocket, which took all the pace out of the cue ball. So a similar sort of shot for Ronnie. His aim will be somewhere up near the yellow. Needs to avoid the blue though. And another, to say, a loose shot from Ronnie there. Doesn't normally make unforced errors. Jimmy, just have a look at this red that's close to the cushion. I think it probably will cut in, but he's going to have to be very precise with it. If he gets close, it could stay over the pocket should he miss it. Oh, nicely played. There's the cannon. Not too bad. Yellow with the rest.
Yeah, it's not the ideal angle on the yellow, but he could have been on nothing there with a less than favourable cannon to the blue. But he does have the opportunity here, as long as he can avoid cannoning into the green with the cue ball, to bring the cue ball down this right hand half of the table for the two reds above the black into this left corner. Jimmy White, of course, in his heyday was known for his prowess with the rest. Jimmy's just making life a bit difficult for himself out there. He won't be happy with the position
Okay.
he's achieved with the cue ball. He
3.
may well still have a red onto the left corner. It won't be as easy as he hoped it would be. You can see it's very straight, so a bit of a test of cueing this.
Yeah, these are horrible though, aren't they? Depends how he plays it. If he digs down slightly, he's just going to just try and drop it in, so he has to hit the middle of the cue ball here. Oh, he's probably just put a faintest bit of side on, but it's just wriggled in. Pace kept that one from staying up. Good pot from Jimmy there. Wasn't clean, but doesn't matter as long as it drops. So, a chance to get back into this frame now. It's far from a frame-winning chance where the
11.
two reds are, but still, it's a chance to get right back into the frame.
12.
Left himself a nice angle here. Can play anything on this shot really. He can nudge the red out or drop in behind it, whatever he chooses. Need to move it. And he's judged it very well, I think. Has that red gone just a fraction too far? Can he cut
90.
this one back in? Just, I think, but it's a very thin one.
Jimmy's extremely expert with the use of side spin on the cue ball. He might need a lot of left hand side here just to help chip the red towards the fall of the slate of the middle pocket. Playing ball. Oh, probably wasn't quite as thin as
20.
myself or Joe thought it was. Oh, very nearly had a good cannon to the black, but he's back in the frame now. Don't think he'll be taking anything on here, potting wise anyway. Chance to lay a good snooker. And it is a good snooker because Sullivan can't play off the right hand side cushion here because black would be right in the way of that. So this is no easy escape. Ronnie O'Sullivan comes back to the table, 7 points ahead.
Foul. A miss. Jimmy White 4.
Well,
Free ball.
it was always going to be a free ball once it cannoned into the yellow there. Now is it worth Jimmy attempting anything here? I don't think so.
Middle, please.
Cue ball will be replaced.
Yeah, this is about as evil snooker as you could possibly find yourself in. It's very difficult to hit.
Yeah.
There is a natural path for the cue ball to come round off 3 cushions, but as we've just seen there, the yellow and brown are very close to being in that path.
Okay. Yeah.
So we could be here a while.
Thank you. Nicely.
This would have been even harder, Joe, wouldn't it, if the cue would have been tight to this top cushion. This Ronnie does need to apply a little bit of right-hand side just to find the gap between brown and yellow.
Foul and a miss. Jimmy White for back here.
Yeah, always going to be a miss that time. I think Brendan Moore is an experienced referee. He'll appreciate how difficult this snooker is, but you feel Ronnie's going to have to get a little bit closer than that before Brendan will consider not calling a miss.
The potential one cushion escape just using the bulk cushion I don't think is on for Ronnie because the pink's on its spot and it's just prohibiting him from hitting the right part of the bulk cushion to affect the escape.
Like you said, on that cue was just close enough to the cushion to make it difficult to get side on this. I think this is the route I probably would have taken. He's just tried to straighten it up off that bulk cushion. This is a great effort. Oh, it's a wonderful shot. A little bit unlucky, I suppose, to leave the red, but it's not. I doubt it's going to cost him the frame. But it's a great escape.
One.
Jimmy tried to knock the black along the cushion there, make the pot easy to the left corner, but my goodness, I wouldn't want to have to try to escape from this snooker coming up.
Jimmy White, one. Foul and a miss. Jimmy White. Back. Not as much.
It's going to be very difficult not only to hit this yellow, but can't get much pace into the cue ball. So
Jimmy.
if he does make contact with the yellow, every chance of sticking it up for Jimmy. This is a better effort. Oh, that's a nice escape again from Ronnie, but that's the yellow one for Jimmy. Not easy, but well, it's one he has to take on.
I'm not sure he's got enough angle on the yellow to try and get him behind the green. That's the problem. Yeah, he's just the wrong side of it. Doesn't have to take it on, of course. Yes, that he is doing though. Oh, where's the cue ball going? Well, fortunately for Jimmy, hasn't found the pocket with the cue ball there, but well, he won't be taking this green on, I don't think.
Yeah, caught me by surprise a bit there, Dom. I thought he was going to just roll that yellow in, leave the cue ball somewhere near the middle of the table, leave himself a chance at the green. Thought he could just avoid the pink. So faced with a tough shot now, probably just play the up and down safety. He's gone the other way and he's made a bit
Jimmy
of a
White.
hash of it, but might not be too costly. But he could find himself in trouble on his next visit to the table.
Yeah, Ronnie tried to get in right behind the blue there and make the snooker a difficult one, but he could have left Jimmy in a snooker with a much easier shot than that one that he played there. Where's this green going? Oh, that's a disaster for Jimmy if he's left the green on, because Ronnie, oh, it's just run on that extra couple of inches. And it stopped a couple of inches shorter than that, and he could have potted the green and developed the brown.
Yeah, quite a tense opening frame, Dom, isn't it? You feel that it's a much bigger frame for Jimmy White than it is Ronnie O'Sullivan. Wonder how it will affect Jimmy if he doesn't win this frame off the been involved in it for quite some time. Again, that's a miss hit from Jimmy, much too thin, but again, not left nothing on for Ronnie. But brown and blue are a good target now. Let's try and hide the cue ball behind.
These two players will be the very best of friends. They'll have shared a number of nights out, I'm pretty sure, over the years. But of course they have a very healthy respect for one another's achievements within the sport. It doesn't help when you pose to one another. Difficult to just block your opponent out and focus on the task in hand at times when you're playing somebody that's so familiar to you. This frame has been in progress over 26 minutes now. I wonder how many of our viewers expected such a lengthy opening frame.
Foul.
Right, Jimmy, I don't
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
think he really wanted to take that green on, but he couldn't see an easy safety shot, so decided to go for the pot, but it was a thin one. He just overdone it. And that's a nice clean pot from Ronnie. Crossed the cue ball nicely as well, didn't strike it too hard, just struck it nice and clean.
Seven.
Good shot on the brown, but it's going to be very difficult to get close to the pink, so might leave himself pink from distance for the first frame.
12.
So long pink coming up, which is frame ball for Ronnie O'Sullivan. There's a cue ball. My goodness me, that was close, but in goes the pink. And with it, the first frame for Ronnie O'Sullivan. The early break of 42, the catalyst. Here is Ronnie O'Sullivan, takes the lead in this match by 1-0.
Second frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Yes, into frame 2 indeed. Ronnie O'Sullivan. Not the sharpest start from him by any means, but maybe he'll settle down now, having won it. Good pink at the end to clinch victory in the first frame. Jimmy White appears rather racked with nerves, if I'm at all honest. Ronnie O'Sullivan, of course, he's far used to these big occasions. Doesn't matter to him. If he puts in a bad frame here and there, he's able to block it out, but these frames that Jimmy's contesting but losing will probably affect him more.
Couldn't agree more, Dom. In my experience of playing the very best players. Hang on a minute, where's this red going? Bonus for Jimmy.
1.
Probably only amount to 1 and a good safety, but better that it's gone in than not. But as I was saying, I think you play these top players and they win so many frames in one
Yellow.
visit. You feel that them frames that are in the balance, you really have to take advantage of them because, like I say, they just rattle so many frames off very quickly.
Jimmy
Just
White
having a
one.
little laugh amongst themselves there, the players. I don't know what that's all about, but they seem relaxed enough.
One.
Long red there from Ronnie. I'll just pull up in time. Oh, just ran on a fraction, but again, that was a lovely, well cued shot. Didn't seem to hit the white at any pace at all. Got lots of reaction out of the cue ball. So as always, he's timing the ball very sweetly. Something Ronnie's always done all his career. He's always got the most out of the cue ball with minimal effort.
Five.
Yeah, it was just a little fortunate that that cue ball stopped in a perfect spot there to pot the brown and advance the cue ball up the table for his next red. And the black's in open play here, so all of a sudden this has to be considered a really good opportunity for Ronnie.
6.
The beginning of the second frame. Not clear if the black's actually on its spot. Oh, it must be. So Ronnie just overran that just fractionally there. Is he on the red that's next to
30.
the black?
Forty. $21. 22.
Although these reds aren't particularly tightly bunched, some of them are rather tricky to get onto. Oh, he's pushed the black wide. Would you believe that? That's a reprieve, Joe, for Jimmy.
22.
Yeah, another collector's item. I don't know how many blacks off the spot he misses in a season, but I bet it's not very many. Easy to do sometimes though when you're digging down. You just put a touch of side on it. It will tend to swerve if you're raising the butt of your
One.
cue. Jimmy given a gift of an opening there. He's played a loose positional shot straight off. And it'll be very difficult now to get on the next red, even if he can pot this black.
Well, if Jimmy decides that the cut is on, maybe making sure that cue ball goes into the pack of reds to give himself a chance to be
Rainbow.
on something, but it's obviously too thin for that. So yeah, chance gone by there for Jimmy.
Jimmy White
How
1.
many golden opportunities like that he's likely to get into this match?
Can be so frustrating, Don, can't it? Jimmy, you'll see him earlier on. He was having a little practice before his match and looked to be striking it nicely. All's going in, and you go out there with all these expectations. You're going to play well and compete, and then just them little, they're not big mistakes, but they're just enough just to stop you building any momentum and applying any pressure to your opponent. And the more chances that go a begging, it just makes the next one that much harder. It's a lovely length of cue ball there for Jimmy, but you can see the red's gone over the corner. Can't get to it directly, but I'll be trying to plant one red onto another here, I should imagine.
Yeah, this isn't quite as easy as it may look because that red isn't right in the jaws of the pocket, so Ronnie would have to hit the right hand side of the red that's over the pocket to actually make the pot. You may consider playing the billiard shot from the red to the left of the pink onto that red that's over the pocket, but then if he does that, I think there'll be less chance of him being on a colour. Things for sure though, he can't leave that red there, he'll have to try and pot it somehow. if there's any way you can come off the side cushion and flick the red in. Don't think you can hit the part of the left-hand side cushion nearest the red quite far down enough.
Yeah, so played the plant off the, seemed like the easier of the selection, but didn't judge it correctly, and again this is a golden opportunity for Jimmy White. Not sure if that red closest to the black spot is occupying the black spot.
One.
If it is, it won't be such a bad thing for Jimmy. Black will go on the pink, keep it nice out in the open. And this is a scoring opportunity that you feel Jimmy really has to make the most of if he's going to have any part to play in this match today. Just having a look there to see if the black will spot. It's very close. Jimmy, in an ideal world, will be hoping that the black doesn't spot.
Played that cannon beautifully. I'm not entirely sure if Jimmy knows
8.
where this black's going to go exactly. Well, it does spot quite comfortably, and it will certainly pot into the left corner, so it's not all bad for Jimmy. I wonder if he'll leave an angle on the black here, just be a little bit high of it to try and develop that red that's next to the black. Try and push it out of the way of the spot. Oh, he's suffered a kick, has he? What on earth happened there? Was that
Jimmy
a kick,
White.
Joe?
8.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one again, Dom. So I'm not sure whether he just played it too quick or if he got the dreaded bad contact. I'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt there and say that was a bad contact, because
1.
you wouldn't expect Jimmy to miss a ball like that. So yeah, I think we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. That's rather unfortunate.
Yes, when you're feeling confident and you're looking forward to a match like this, this type of poor contact doesn't seem to happen to you, but when you're racked with nerves and you're full
8.
of tension, you don't feel confident about scoring heavily. These little things seem to go against you.
9.
Yeah, been a couple of awkward frames so far. You wouldn't call them Ronnie O'Sullivan frames in general. Normally the table's always sitting quite nicely when Ronnie plays. Most of the colours are already on their spots and the reds are where they're supposed to be, but they've been a bit all over the place so far today. So some unusual sort of positional problems facing Ronnie, but that was a better one.
50.
He's building a nice lead in this frame now. He won't need too many more of the reds. Won't have to worry about the reds that are really safe. Can do enough the ones that are in open play. That was a nice shot he played there. Didn't have a lot of room there. Knew the green was always going
21.
to be somewhere in play there, but managed to just avoid it. So keep an eye on the scoreboard now for
22.
Ronnie. This blue puts him 39 ahead. Still looking for a couple more reds. Oh, that one's gone wrong. So he can still get through to the pot angle on this red. Take it straight. He goes
27.
to the green pocket. It's not too bad a shot for him. Can just roll it in, plain ball.
You can always tell when Ronnie's struggling a little bit. His average shot time is 20 seconds per shot. That's probably around 5 seconds slower than you'd like it to be. Jimmy White's highest break in this match is just 20 there. You see the average shot times between the two players. Jimmy down at 23 seconds. In his heyday, in his late 80s, he didn't have average shot times then, but it certainly appeared to me that he'd be in the sort of 16, 17 seconds a shot. He was a very, very fast player in his heyday, Jimmy.
He wouldn't have been nicknamed the Whirlwind Don, would he, if he was averaging 23 seconds a shot? I think he was definitely quicker than that. But sometimes the balls dictate how fast you can play. You know, when Ronnie's queuing nicely at sort of 15, 16 seconds a shot, it's all very straightforward. Stuns and screws around the black spot. When you've got to think about it and the white's got to travel a lot more, just gives you that extra few seconds to think about what you're going to do. I've been 2 cagey opening frames so far. Interesting nonetheless, but not what we was expecting.
Another statistic worth mentioning is that Sullivan's pot success rate is down at 87%. How often do you see that? Jimmy White's a couple of points lower at 85%. I'm sure we'll see those statistics improve as the match progresses. Oh, that was a clever shot from Jimmy, knowing that the pink just settled on that bottom jaw, made this a big pocket for the red. Played it well, but is he on a colour nicely? I don't think he is.
Yellow ball.
So facing a 38-point deficit, decides to bring the yellow into play. That's good thinking.
Jimmy
Makes
White.
the potential winning clearance a much easier one.
Much too thick on the attempted pot that time for Ronnie, but that red's just crept far enough past the brown to hide the potting angle. A little bit fortunate there with the red coming that far up the table not to leave a pot on for Jimmy. That's a very good safety shot from Jimmy. That could get Ronnie O'Sullivan thinking just a little. Oh, he could just see the edge of the red, but he's missed it.
Foul.
Can on the yellow.
Yes.
In all honesty,
Jimmy White.
that could have gone even more wrong for Ronnie. Could have left an easy red on there for Jimmy. I think may exercise his right to have the balls replaced. Jimmy being left-handed, I don't think he can reach the red along the right-hand side cushion. But for a moment this cue will can a full ball into the pink. He's taking this other red on. Well, I'm glad to see Jimmy taking shots like that on. It's probably the best thing to do. You don't want to be refusing pots against somebody like Ronnie O'Sullivan. You'll just see that as a sign that you're not feeling very confident.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Dom. I think players, you see a lot of players, as soon as a referee calls foul and a miss, their first instinct is just to replace the balls. So sometimes can create some negative shot choices. It was good to see Jimmy take that on. You knew it was an opportunity if he knocked it in. He's played a nice safety shot there. Table at the moment not looking quite so inviting for a clearance, but still some good safety being played here by Jimmy. Cue ball's going close to this corner. Jimmy would have liked that to have gone in, would have left him a much easier pot, but he'll definitely be taking this one on. Shouldn't be a natural in off to left middle, can just avoid that, I think. Yeah, just avoided being off. Nice pot.
Jimmy would love to be able to do here is just drop the blue in and flick that pink away from the red if he could. It's the sort of shot that Jimmy likes to play, these delicate little cannons. Oh, he's just missed it. Oh, he's edging slowly back into this frame, but he is still 28
6.
points adrift of Ronnie, with 2 reds remaining, so just one more mistake from Jimmy could be his last here, so he needs to be very careful.
Jimmy White, 6.
He won't be happy with that one as he walks away from the table. Not only did he not get the snooker behind the yellow, but he's left Ronnie a chance at this red. Seemed an inviting target, stunning behind the yellow there, but didn't get enough juice into the cue ball, and this red definitely pots for Ronnie. He's overcut it, but at first glance he's left it for Jimmy, so this is a chance. Cube was going to be coming down the right hand side of the table. I think he's got a chance if he wants to be quite ambitious and try and move the other red when potting this red. That will really set the clearance up should it come off.
I think he played the developing cannon as you suggested, Joe. I think I would have done the same. He'll be
1.
delighted to finish so nicely on the blue. Don't know if you can play a deep screw here and screw into the red, but you could certainly leave a double on it. Double it is. And Jim is pretty good at doubles, and in all honesty, if there's such a thing as an easy double, this is probably it.
6.
Yeah, so I'm expecting to get this double, but the clearance, there's still a little bit of work to do. Yellow and green are close to each other, so no problem getting on them, but the trouble is he's got to get from green to brown, and the green's on the wrong side of the table for Jimmy, being a left-hander. So I may try and tackle that now. But now the cube has gone
7.
too far. Can't pot the green now, so it's all going to be about that shot from green to brown, you feel.
Yeah, I think Jimmy decided to leave the green where it was because obviously getting onto it from the yellow is easy, but this is the key shot, isn't it? If he can get perfectly on this green,
14.
the clearance will certainly be on for Jimmy. Try to develop it. There you go. You see, Jimmy didn't want to have to
6.
play it with the rest. It hasn't worked out. The double's on again here for Jimmy, but it's absolutely no good to him positionally. So he just needs a good safety shot here, I feel.
Yeah, I think he missed a trick there, Dom. I think I would have been trying to pop that green off the last red. That's how you see it sometimes. Don't always know how players are feeling out there. But he's back in this frame, just 12 behind. But if this green passes the pink, it's a possible shot to nothing for Ronnie. Cube will be going up somewhere towards the brown. Oh, that's a nice friendly glance off the brown. Not got a full ball snooker here on the green, but it's going to be very difficult for Jimmy now to get this safe. That pink's looking more like a cricket ball than a snooker ball. That's going to be right in the way there.
Yeah. Problem is as well, if he does play a thin edge off the green, he'll be very careful not to leave it over the left corner. Well, in the end, played a bit of both. Played the deliberate cannon into the pink, and green over to the side cushion. I think that's about as good as Jimmy could have done from there, really. Not too difficult to hit the green, but of course it's the age-old problem. He's got to get it safe.
Yeah, that's the only trouble in it when you're playing safe, Dom. It's okay playing containing safety shots, but you're always opening yourself up to find yourself in trouble next shot. But good hit from Jimmy. Needs this cue ball to run. Oh, can he get through to the potting angle here. Big moment in this frame. I'm not sure from Ronnie's body language. Might just be able to squeeze through. Yeah, he could.
Three.
He's potted it nicely, so a little bit unfortunate there for Jimmy. Green could have gone anywhere really when he made contact with it, and to finish so close to the holes, rather disappointing from his point of view.
Yes, in goes the brown. That's frame ball for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Simple pink. Right over that right corner pocket. I don't think this blue's going to trouble Ronnie either.
12.
So, two rather lengthy opening frames. This one stopping about 5 minutes short of the first, but still
18.
nevertheless over 22 minutes. But Ronnie O'Sullivan gets the winning clearance and extends his lead. And now here's Jimmy White by 2 frames to 0. Yes, interesting thoughts there from Morgan. He has had his chance of Jimmy White in both of these frames, and he's lost them both, so if he doesn't win this next frame, very difficult to see him beating somebody like Ronnie O'Sullivan from 3 behind. But Ronnie O'Sullivan's performance will give him cause for concern, even if he does progress in this match. Both these players have shared the table time. They're both at 50% in terms of table time, but that man there has won both of the frames that have been played. And you see the pot success. Joe, have you ever seen Ronnie O'Sullivan down at 82%?
No, that's a very rare stat. Probably hasn't played 82% in the last 10 years, I should imagine. But it's been one of them games so far. It just goes to show you never really know what's going to happen in this game. For all the world would have thought Ronnie would have come out, especially after watching him yesterday, all guns blazing, knocking in 1 visit, some big breaks, which doesn't turn out that way. Sometimes the balls dictate how a match of snooker pans out. Jimmy just having a look here. It looks like a big pocket, but it's not as straightforward as that. Jimmy has to hit the left jaw first, and he did, and he's played that nicely. So this is a nice scoring chance for Jimmy. Okay, the reds aren't sitting perfectly, but the black's in the open. Got his hand on the table. And you feel, even though Ronnie's not firing all cylinders, the best way to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan
8.
is with 1 visit. It's very hard to win in bits and pieces. And Jimmy's going to have to start scoring a bit heavier. He's going to contest this match.
He's just not getting through the ball, Jimmy White. He's not bringing the cue back rather, on the final backswing very far. He's rather trying to create power from a short backswing, and it's putting a bit of stun on the ball instead of pure topspin. Ooh, is this red in? Wow, goodness me.
Jimmy White.
Well,
8.
it was a poor positional shot really from black to red. Although Jim is such a great player with the rest, he's under a lot of pressure here, and it's hold with that shot there. Just put it onto the near jaw, and they don't very often go in off that near jaw. That's another chance that's gone astray for Jimmy.
Yeah, and I think that shot is also a sign that we're in
1.
day 3. On day 1, I think that red would have dropped in. I watched the match this morning with Ding Junhui, and a couple of the balls that have been dropping all of a sudden are staying in the jaws. Pockets are not playing quite as generous as they were on day 1. again, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Things are not going his way today, even though he's winning this match. Ball's not being very friendly. Could have easily had a easy red to right corner here after that shot, but he's going to have to knock this mid-range red in. Keep this break going. Nice clean pot. So back in prime position now. Even though Ronnie's in front this match, he won't be too happy with how he's played so far.
Yes, we're more familiar with Ronnie's robustest attacking style of play, aren't we? But
12.
we've seen none of that yet. Oh, we see some of it here.
13.
Probably overscrewed that a little, but could play cannon into the pack of reds if you wished, although there are loose ones to play for.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of Ronnie's break building, which is different to some of the more modern day top players.
18.
You very rarely see Ronnie crash into the pink off the blue. He likes to be more controlled in the way he goes about his break building.
19.
If he can help it, tries not to depend on too much luck when playing into the pack. And you can see there straight away that one pot he's made there has freed up another 3 or 4 reds, so he's definitely a
26.
great architect when it comes to break building. Goes about it in such a special way, so easy on the eye.
27.
Well, this is looking much more like it.
32.
O'Sullivan decided to go into them on that occasion, and they split very well. Yes, he's a very different style, a great builder to Judd Trump. Judd always blasts that cube
32.
into the pack of reds as early as possible to get them spread far and wide. Only very different to Judd. I suppose you could call him a more orthodox break builder. Judd does seem to see the game differently to
40.
many others. It certainly
41.
works for Judd. A runaway leader at the top of the rankings. At the moment, seems to be a player that's very difficult to get the better of.
$48. 49.
It's a bit more like it from Ronnie though. A bit more fluent. Average shot times gradually creeping down into the teens. Another nice little controlled cannon there. There you see, just under the 20 seconds now.
54.
As he keeps control of that cue ball, that will come down even further.
$55.
Again, for a few minutes, a bit quicker this frame. It's very close to the winning line in this frame. Just looking for a couple more reds, colours.
This is easily Ronnie O'Sullivan's best effort of the match. 61 and counting. Eclipses his
61.
previous best of 42, which he made in frame 1. And this left-handed. He's quite happy
62.
playing. He'd play a whole match left-handed Ronnie O'Sullivan and still be difficult to beat. That's this incredible degree of ambidexterity. Should be in the bag for Ronnie O'Sullivan. There you have
69.
it, 61 points ahead, but just 59 remain. And I can't see Jimmy White returning to the table here. Just remains to see.
70.
If Ronnie O'Sullivan rather can increase his career tally of century breaks, which currently stands 1,087, but unfortunately the
Ronnie
black
O'Sullivan,
goes
70.
straight.
And the
So
front.
the break ends at 70, but it's more than enough for Ronnie O'Sullivan. He increases his lead over Jimmy White by 3 frames to 0. fascinating look back there on Ronnie O'Sullivan's glittering career. Some of the statistics: the only player to date to make 1,000 century breaks as a professional player. Difficult to know how long Ronnie can go on for, but he certainly seems to me to be capable of winning ranking events for quite a few more years to come. Already made 1,087 centuries, 52 of them this season. Sorry, last season. He's made 26 this season. Of course, our current defending world champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan. World Championships is just a couple more months away now. Of course, it was held much later in the season last season because of the pandemic.
Thank you, Ronnie.
He hasn't had to enjoy.
Frame 4.
He's
Ronnie
running as
O'Sullivan
world
to break.
champion for as long as normal. Prepares here to break off for what he hopes will be the last frame of this match. Just one more frame required to book his place into round 3.
So as we often see off the break-off, this red pokes its head out and sticks it up for his opponent. The red below the black might be causing Jimmy a problem here with his eye line. Yeah, maybe had just one eye on that. Would have been much easier, that shot, had that red not been there. That red's got the table, but not in a pot-well position for Ronnie, so a bit of a reprieve there for Jimmy, although he could find himself behind a baulk colour here. Well, Ronnie just keeping things safe, making no effort to get a snooker there. So, last chance saloon really for Jimmy. He's got to up his game. It's very difficult, as we all know, playing Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's so easy to sort of go a bit within yourself and not play to your own ability. But he's going to have to up it if he wants to get back into this match.
It's worth mentioning, of course, that this is Jimmy White's first match. This is Betfit's Welsh Open because he was beneficiary of a walkover in the first round. Mark Joyce was due to be his opponent there, but he showed some signs of COVID, so decided to withdraw. Ronnie O'Sullivan had that emphatic victory over Robbie Williams in round 1. Scored very heavily in that match. Beat Robbie Williams by 4 frames to 0, although Robbie did have a few chances in that match and I'd be a little bit disappointed he didn't make the most of them.
One disappointment for Jimmy there. He was playing what he thought was just a straightforward 2-cushion escape into the punch, but misjudged it slightly and left the red on for Ronnie. So a long way to go here, but we always like the black to be on its spot, but on this occasion, black not being on its
6.
spot will probably help Ronnie. As long as he finishes off ball on this black. Oh, that was an absolute monster kick. We don't see too many of them anymore.
6.
But they don't come much bigger than that.
Wow, huge kick. And I think because he was playing it with a trace of check side, whenever you get a kick in conjunction with side on the cue ball, it really does accentuate the push-off.
Okay.
Well, he is one of these players that sticks with the original brand of chalk that were often favoured by players until this new variety was introduced several years ago. This red is another testing one for Jimmy. Too thin, and he's left it. But you're absolutely right, Joe, this black's in a good spot there for Ronnie. He may well play for it half ball again here.
1.
That's absolutely A1, so you can play a cannon now into the pack of reds and try and develop something. Always need to be careful, you don't pot a red into a centre pocket or something. No danger of that, but it could have finished better.
8.
Could have finished a lot better. No pot available for Ronnie, so again, just runs back up to Bork. But that
Ronnie
safety
O'Sullivan,
shot's freed a
8.
few more reds, so pressure on Jimmy's safety shot. You can get through to the red on the right hand side of the table, so shouldn't have too much problem getting back to Bork. Be trying to hide this cue ball somewhere behind the green spot if you can. And if it travels, that's a good shot if you can block off this right hand side of the bunch. It's a good shot from Jimmy. Exactly as played. Made the return for Ronnie that much more difficult.
You can see Ronnie applying side spin to the cue ball there to try to just bend it around that green slightly. Got too much on it. But this mid-range red won't look easy to Jimmy White, I can assure you.
Yeah, Jimmy dropped his head there, but that was a tough pot really when you think what's gone on in this match so far. Had Jimmy been queuing nicely and been well in this match, maybe 2-1 up or something, would have potted that no problem, but it was full of pressure, that pot. Knew he was going to be leaving the game and match for Ronnie should he miss it.
1.
And now that red's gone in. Ronnie's off and running here. Reds are not ideally situated. They're spread nicely, but sort of a couple of them are blocking each other, so he's got to be careful with his position. It's one of them situations, Dom, where as he pots one red, it will probably release another red, and if you're looking to get one more
7.
frame to win the match, this is sometimes how you want them.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. May also have a potential plant there to the left corner, the two reds together. Looks to be set
8.
for a plant. I don't think that'll come to the equation just yet, though. Ronnie would like to. You see the two reds, unmissable really, that plant. Ronnie's first task will be just to free the pink spot up. And potting this red to the right corner, you can just nudge the red below it out of the way a little.
14.
Decide to place the pink to the same pocket.
50.
Got a feeling there he might play it to the right centre. This is the thing when the reds and colours are like this. There's so many options available to you. If you're not on one red, you're usually on another.
$21. 22.
Looking very ominous now for Jimmy. Maybe in his chair, not expecting to get back to the table, but you have to be ready should something surprisingly happen. Only just looking if he can get on these two reds. Doesn't have to, of course. There's enough loose ones there to win the frame without messing about with them, but like all great break builders, you like the black to be available into both pockets.
$29. 30.
Well, if he isn't on the red to the right corner, well, he is.
37.
There are other options there for Ronnie.
38.
His highest break in this match was in the last frame, one of 70. The chance for a century break. Mr. Black. Jimmy White's highest break in this match is a lowly 20.
44.
Even though he has had 45% of the table time, has got in first in quite a few of the frames.
45.
Well, he's just seeing if he's pushed the plant off course. He may not have done. It can still be made, but it's unlikely he'll need to bother with the plant. So this next red, that's why the right centre or right corner will be frame
52.
and match ball, barring snookers.
53.
Any colour will do. And I'm sure Jimmy White, sat in his chair, will reflect on this match as one that maybe he could have won. If he'd have known that Ronnie O'Sullivan would perform the way he has in this match, Jimmy would have been a little more confident about his own chances of winning it.
58. 59. 64.
You can see the construction of this break of 64,
65.
utilising the pink, the black and the blue. Oh, he's missed another black. Too much
Ronnie
thought of the
O'Sullivan,
cannon,
65.
but I don't think Ronnie
Frame
O'Sullivan
match.
will worry
Cheers,
too
Jimmy.
much. Jimmy White doesn't deconcede.
Cheers, Ronnie
Well, it
O'Sullivan.
wasn't the scintillating snooker we were expecting from Ronnie O'Sullivan or from Jimmy White, but the job was done. Jimmy White sadly lacking in form, and it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who wins the match comfortably and goes into round 3 of this year's Bet Victor Welsh Open, a victor by 4 frames to 0.